Everybody, Midwest, dirty South, just bounce. Get your hands up, bounce. Come on, East Coast, West Coast.
Welcome to the Bounce Media Network. I am your host from coast to coast, the one and only MC, Mr. J Ski, coming to you live and direct. And today I want to talk to you primarily about the WNBPA. The WNBPA, its leadership, and the lack thereof of a CBA. All right. They still have not signed an agreement. Adam Silver is getting fed up with the nonsense that these ladies are exhibiting. And, you know, first and foremost, we got to talk about, if it hasn't been said enough already, the conflicts of interest throughout this organization. All right. The Players Association, you got Nneka Ogwumike, the president. She has a conflict of interest. She signed overseas a deal with with Project B, this startup league that's supposed to start in the fall of 2026 this year. And she's the president of the Players Association. All right. You got Kelsey Plum. She's the vice president. Breonna Turner, treasurer. Leisha Clark, vice president. Several vice presidents. Nafisa Correa, Fee, everybody knows her. The co-founder of Unrivaled, conflict of interest. A league, a rival league with her other co-founder, Breonna Stewart. Breonna Stewart, as it has come across the interwebs, she has just signed a deal to play in the Euro League with Fenerbahce. Okay, and that league starts in April. I don't know what that means for the WNBA, but if she's starting a league that starts in April, I believe April 19th, then what does that spell out for the league that she's supposedly be trying to spearheading a new CBA for in the W? Okay, she's going overseas playing with Fenerbahce, and the training camp for the W is supposed to start in April or early May, and she'll obviously be late for that. She won't make it. Okay, she'll be late for training camp. I don't know if that signals something specifically, as if there is she is already anticipating some type of lockout or the lack of a CBA agreement being signed. It seems like their leadership is split on what they should do, if they should sign or not sign. I know Alicia Clark, she's a veteran. She's in her mid-30s. She probably wants to get a deal done. She'll be going from the vet minimum of was it 150,000, 200,000 to a league minimum if they sign a new CBA to like 450,000. So her contract will double. All right. She's not going to get a max contract from anyone. I don't believe so. But it just seems to me that these ladies, they have their priorities mixed up. It's definitely interfering with the W's outlook on things. We need to get a training camp in process come April. We also need to do the draft in March. And then there needs to be the expansion draft as well. So the Player Association, it's, when it all comes down to it, I know I'm new to speaking on these things. I'm not new to basketball. That's pretty much all I watch, all I pay attention to, primarily college ball. But from what I can see, it's, and, to be honest, I was talking to my wife about this. The W, we all know the league is primarily, it's a black league. Some people call it a black feminist league. Are there white players? Yes, there's white players. There's even a couple Asian players in the league. Okay, but it's predominantly a black league. Okay, I would probably say 85% lesbian. Okay. Not really topics I want to speak on, but I kind of came across a video that I want to get into and just kind of, basically there's a parallel that I see the way that it's a cultural thing. There's a video that was sent to me by a couple ladies that they have a channel on YouTube, and it's called The Strap Down. Okay, let's just go ahead and get into it, and then I'll react to it.
Hi, my name is Sharia.
I'm Aria.
And this is The Strap Down. The Strap Down is a black queer femme podcast
Hosted by two black queer femme comedians.
where we talk about black.
I'm going to stop it right there. All right. A black femme queer podcast. It's kind of like hit you in the face. And, it's kind of like identity politics. I don't really care for too much how people live their lives and, who they vote for, who they don't vote for, what their certain interests are. But when I came across this and I watched it, I kind of scanned through it the first time. The first thing that stuck out that came to mind was this is how the W is kind of their mindset, is. It's they hit you in the face with their identity, like we're feminists, we're activists, we're queer, we're lesbians, we support trans rights and all these things. When you, as a sports advocate, which I believe that I am, and as well as a family man, when I watch a basketball game, football game, that's pretty much what I want. That's what I'm there for. I'm there for the sport, the game. I'm not there for what you believe in, who you go home with, who you're dating, all those things. I'm not there for that. And I really want it far from my mind, if I may, be perfectly honest. I'm a little bit on the older side, but I'm not, I'm not that old. So it's, I'm not from a certain era, whereas, I don't want to hear that. But I just like to keep things separate. Okay. I really just don't want to hear anything about, your sexual identity or anything like that. More so than you need to hear about how much of a straight man that I am, or, that I'm in a heterosexual marriage or anything like that. Those things, are far from mine. I just don't want to think about it. Now, if I see two people walking down the street and they have to be of the same gender and they're holding hands, okay, that doesn't bother me. It's, hello, how are you doing? Nice day, isn't it? And we go on about our business, or don't, speak at all. Same as when if I see a straight couple walking down the street, hello, how you doing? Nice day, isn't it? Oh, that's your dog? That's a nice dog. What's his name? Or so on. Or we don't speak at all. I kind of want to keep it that way. If I see something and I happen to think it's something, then it is what it is. But I don't want to see something and I see all you're doing is waving this flag of this is who I am. Do you see me? And all that. That doesn't have anything to do with basketball. And, it's, with Caitlin Clark, who I happen to be a fan of, unapologetic fan of, and I'm also a fan of the Indiana Fever as well, by way of Caitlin Clark. Okay, I'm a fan of the Iowa Hawkeyes as well by way of Caitlin Clark. Now, anyone in close association with Caitlin, basically I could or could not become a fan of as well. If I'm watching an Indiana Fever game and the game that's coming on afterwards is the New York Liberty, I may watch a portion of that game as well following the Fever game because my senses are heightened. I'm already in tune with basketball. I'm in a basketball mindset. Hey, that was a really good game. I kind of want to keep it going, kind of like a high, right? I want to keep that high going. If it sustains me, then I'll watch the whole game. If it doesn't, or even if I want to see a player that played against the Fever in a previous game and I know their game is coming on next, then I'll watch that. So it's that rising tide lifts all boats type of thing, okay, that you get with being a fan of Caitlin Clark. All right. Now, these ladies on this video, the strap down, like I said, it's just overtly tones of, their sexual identity and things like that. And that's the same thing the same type of feeling or senses I get when I'm watching many of the players in the W. Okay, so let's continue on with the video, and then I'll react to a couple more things.
It's got some icks going on, and it might be a little more controversial than I thought it should be. But why don't you give us an introduction of what's going on?
Okay.
We're talking about the WNBA's
Yes.
collective bargaining agreement.
Yes, so we're talking about the WNBA collective bargaining agreement. If you're not watching the news, if you're not into sports, this would be something that, I think is worth getting into and really taking a good look at, because I think this is something that could impact women's sports in general. So right now, the WNBA players and the WNBA league office and execs are kind of at a stalemate kind of when it comes to the collective bargaining agreement. And so if you're not sure what a collective bargaining agreement is, it's basically kind of like a contract that lays out between the league and the players of like their salary, their work conditions, and all of that. And
People used to have these things called like labor unions. I know.
Sarcastic.
And you used to be able to like negotiate your contract and have their CBA was actually the last time that they made that contract was before the pandemic.
Right.
And now it's it's been up for renegotiation, and the deadline was the 1st, and then they extended
They've had, I think, about 2 extensions to come to an agreement about like pay, revenue sharing, and things like that. And so they're still at odds, which is crazy because it is, what's today? Today is
the February 6th?
February 6th,
7th?
yeah. Free agency, which is was supposed to start February 1st. And so we still have only about maybe like 3 months to get to an agreement so that the league can start. And really less than 3 months, because they still have to have the draft, they have to have free agency, they have to have the draft for the expansion teams that are starting next year.
And these greedy are thinking of withholding their labor until they can reach an agreement. Who would even?
All right, let me stop right there. So, okay, all right. So everything was pretty much informative up until this point, and then it kind of goes downhill, and it lets you know where they stand on this. They're thinking like, oh, who has the nerve to basically stop their labor? They're basically, what they're actually doing is holding the league hostage. Okay, these women, most of these women in the WNBA are unemployed. They don't have any contracts. Okay, they opted out of the last CBA in the last year of the CBA. And so basically, we're at a stalemate, but they are unemployed, so they can't even strike. All right, if they were going to strike, then they should have did it last season, maybe in the middle of the season, maybe after the All-Star game before the season, the 2025 season continued, but they didn't do any of that. So this whole nonsense with, oh, we're going to strike or whatever, you're not even employed. And the people that are employed that are still under contract, they could strike, okay, but they're under rookie contract, so they could technically strike, but these other people that they're trying to shape the minds of the younger players, the rookies and so forth, the younger players. They're trying to shape their minds and mold them to think to this old guard way of thinking, and try to get them to like, hey, be on board with us. Let's strike and let's do this. They need to pay us what they owe us. They need to pay. They wouldn't be in this position if it were not for one particular player that brought an entire fan base from college in 2024 to the W. All right. And I am one of those fans. Okay. My entire family became we were one of those fans that were brought over to the W by way of Caitlin Clark. So all of these things, they didn't ask for none of these things before. They were happy just to get a rental car. Okay. They were making $67,000 a year or something like that for the minimum, and then they had the vet minimum, and then the max was like $250. Okay, they're going from a maximum of $250 to potentially to 1.4 million in the first year, and then over by year 3 or 3-4, there'll be 2 million. All right, and the vet minimum is 450,000, and then the player minimum is about 250,000. Okay, so the pay has quadrupled 5 times, 6 times more than what it was before. Okay, so it just kind of grinds my gears to hear, these people that are advocates for the W and for the players to speak exactly like the players and the WNBPA association. Okay, let's continue.
This is not what this country was founded on. That's not how we got the 5-day work week. Okay? I don't know what these crazy ladies are talking about.
Like, how dare they demand better pay and working conditions?
But it's not. Yes, exactly. Like, they're literally, like, most of it is asking for, like kind of, like, really basic working conditions so that they don't have to, because they go over, they have 5 months of this, they have to train, they have all this stuff, and then they go overseas and work their bodies to the bone just so that they can keep up the money that they have.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they go overseas, is because they don't make enough here playing for the WNBA to live and like where they live at. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think the minimum salary currently right now for a WNBA player is like $66,000.
Yeah.
So imagine being a rookie and you finally get to accomplish your professional dreams and you get drafted to the LA Sparks.
And I want to reiterate that, like, okay, you're a rookie, but you have spent years like training your body, putting your body at risk, putting like one of the big players just tore ACL, and it's like there, you have to understand that there's like, it's not
imagine being a
your
rookie
60K job
like Caitlin
where
Clark
you send
and bringing
emails for a living. I'm not
a
saying
million
it's not hard,
fans,
but I'm
new
saying
fans,
your body is put on the line
and getting paid $67,000
than most
a year.
regular workers.
Yes, and even at a regular job, if you are at a job and you would expect that job to pay you a livable wage depending on like where you live.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So imagine like the players that live in these high cost areas, like for the New York Liberty, the LA Sparks. Like $66,000.
That's not gonna.
You're gonna have a couple of roommates.
Yeah, exactly.
You
and your roommates are not gonna love you like, doing push-ups and dribbling the ball. Yes. You got 4 roommates, like you're not gonna be.
Hold on. Let's stop. So, okay, pay us what you owe us. Pay us. You are owed what you are worth, what you can negotiate. If you are paid, let's say, for example, in the old CBA, $67,000, it's not the owner's responsibility to make sure that you can buy a Mercedes Benz or, buy a penthouse apartment when you're not bringing in the earnings to substantiate that, that pay. Okay. So if you're getting paid the minimum for some of them, that's basically what their worth is. You can't say, well, I'm worth $5 million. Like, okay, if you can get 5 million or 2 million, 3 million, whatever, if you can get that, then that's your worth. But if no one's willing to pay that, that's not your worth. It's just like if you're selling a car, and to example, the car to me is worth $5,000. Well, I've had it on the market for about 6 months, 8 months, and the most I've been offered is $2,500. Well, guess what? That makes that car worth $2,500 because I can't sell it for $5,000. It doesn't matter if that's what I want. That's what I can get. Okay, so you either settle for what you can get or you keep the car. So these ladies need to settle for what they can get, what the owners are offering them, or find another job. All right, find another job. You just can't, hold somebody, an organization hostage and say, pay us $2 million, $2.5 million, and also give us 30% of the revenue, the revenue sharing, when you're not bringing in anything. You're not bringing in nothing. Okay, Is the league making money now? Yeah, they're making some money, but they were losing millions upon millions of dollars. And now they're just now starting to turn a profit, and now you want them to split those profits with you. It's ridiculous.
That's right. It's just for the money. It's just the most. They got a budget.
Split this rent.
That's right. What happens to the league if they don't reach an agreement?
They could either strike and there wouldn't be a season.
Yeah, really, you're really going to lose money off that.
A lot of players are going to be like, they're just going to go overseas. And now it's kind of interesting, like kind of a conversation now that you have these alternate leagues. Like, for example, Unrivaled.
Yeah.
Like, Unrivaled right now was... if you don't know what Unrivaled is, this was a league that was started by two of the players. It was started by Breanna Stewart from the New York Liberty and also Nafisa Collier from the Minnesota Lynx. And so this is like a player-run league, so they know like the type of things that they want to get fixed and things like that. And so it's gained a lot of popularity like over the years, and they're able to pay their players a lot more money. You know?
All right. So, couple things. Yeah. Unrivaled was supposedly started to stop, to give the players in the off season of the W a place to go and play and stay in the States. Okay, so they wouldn't have to go overseas. But guess what? Players are playing in the W, then they're playing in Unrivaled, and then they're going overseas. So that's a bunch of bullshit, basically. I was trying to be PG there. Yeah, it's basically bullshit. All right. They're trying to get every check they can get, every dollar they can make. It doesn't matter if they go straight into Unrivaled after the W season ends, and then right after Unrivaled ends, they're going. You know, like I said, Breanna Stewart, Bree Stew, one of the co-founders of Unrivaled, she's going to play in the EuroLeague. All right. She's already signed a contract and she's going to play in the EuroLeague right after Unrivaled is over. And she is the co-founder of the league that supposedly was going to entice players to not go overseas. And here she is going overseas herself to get another bag.
So why is it that Unrivaled is paying their players more money than the goddamn WNBA? And this is the thing that I found interesting, because they currently, according to their last agreement, they only get 9.3 or 9.7% of revenue stream.
Yes.
Of revenue. Revenue is not profit, but let's get into that first. They get 9.3, 9.7%, maybe up to 12% of revenue stream. That's like the cap, right? And that there's still no like yearly increase, right? And from that revenue stream, they still have to split that A between the NBA, because the NBA takes a portion. They subsidize the WNBA for good reason. Because historically there would whatever. So, right? And they
good reason.
They have to
for good
split
reason.
that revenue stream. Like each team will,
What's the
at the
reason?
most, will maybe get like a mil to split between the entire team, the owners, the everybody, right? That means that like top players are making like $212,000 a year.
Right. That's currently, that's the top players. That's like 4-time MVP Asia Wilson is making $212,000
a year. That's ludicrous.
Yes.
Because I live in New York, and like that's not accounting for taxes, for life, for paying for your manager, your agent.
Again, I'm just gonna stop. It's like it doesn't matter what they are paying. They're getting paid what they are worth. So at the current rate, when the max salary in the last CBA was $249,000 to $269,000, that's what they were worth at that time when the league was still losing money. So they were actually losing money and getting paid that. Imagine if you're losing money and you still happen to pay wages. Now, being a business owner myself and with employees, you know, I've taken jobs just to keep my employees working and for them to continue working whether I was making a profit or not. Okay, so I don't want to go too much into the, you know, what type of company and job and all that, but in order for them to keep food on the table and to not go look for work elsewhere, I would take on jobs that would pay me less money just so I can so they can continue to earn money, earn wages. All right, and that's basically what the owners, they've been paying into the WNBA, paying the players whatever the salaries are. I think there's like 150, 130 to 150 players. Imagine playing all those players, thousands upon thousands, equating to millions upon millions of dollars in salaries, and you're not making any money. Okay. Now, lucky for them, they may own an NBA team. They may own a large company that produces some type of product or something like that. Whereas that's how are making their millions or billions of dollars. And the W, they're just holding on to this in hopes of maybe one day this will turn a profit. But as for a long time, it was not.
Your teams, your own stuff, your there's so many things that they have to cover, and there's not a lot of support if they get injured, and for a lot of other things. They are not. I have seen this conversation framed on the internet. These are the most greedy, evil women that have ever lived. And that the WNBA does not deserve, the WNBA players don't deserve that money because the WNBA does not make a profit. Are y'all dumb?
I think they are.
I think y'all are dumb.
I think they're dumb.
Because the NBA had been around since the 20s, right? and they didn't start making a profit until the mid 80s. They didn't start making a consistent profit until the mid 80s.
And it's really interesting when you hear about.
All right, I'm done with this. Okay, so when the NBA started, there was the ABA before the ABA and the NBA at the same time, and the NBA for many years, decades, didn't turn a profit. They didn't make any money, but they also didn't make the salaries that they're making now. Okay. It wasn't until Larry Bird and Magic Johnson came along in the 80s and basically turned things around. And David Stern was the commissioner of the NBA. And basically with those dynamics, the players, the rivalry between the Celtics and the Lakers, and then under the stewardship of David Stern, they put the NBA in a position to be where it is now. Okay, now many would say that Adam Silver is kind of failing the NBA and taking it down a dark path with the players' behaviors and their ridiculousness over there and losing fans and what have you. But the NBA was left in a strong position. All right, before it was passed on to Adam Silver. Now with the W, yeah, they have not made any money, but yet they were still. There were a couple times that the W almost folded. Okay, and it almost folded while those ladies were earning a salary. Okay, earning a paycheck. Okay, it almost folded because the owners were not making any money, and businesses go into business to make money. Any other business would have folded or shut down or gone bankrupt. But like I said, if it weren't for the people that own, portions of the W, if it weren't for them, for their other businesses to keep them, to sustain them, to keep the W afloat, the W would have been gone 10 years ago. That's why many teams folded. The Houston Comets and the Detroit Shock and all those things, those teams folded because the owners threw in the towel because they didn't believe in it. They didn't believe in it, and they wanted to stop the bleeding. So it is what it is. Like I said, I kind of wanted to touch on this. It's just the ridiculousness of the WNBPA, the way that they think, these ladies on the strap down, all out there with, their lifestyle, their identity politics, and just their overall culture and mindset and way of thinking. It's a mirror image of the players in the WNBA. It's literally the same thing. It's just they're just delusional, and they want something that they didn't earn, and they want it off of the back of someone else. And that someone else would be, I would say, it's Caitlin Clark. Okay, it's Caitlin Clark, and they know it. All right, so that's all I got. Hope you guys find this video interesting. Something to kind of scratch your head on. If you haven't already done so, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get subscribers up, trying to get the views up. Many people aren't leaving comments on some of the videos, but the views are high, but the comments are low. So if you got have any thoughts or any any tidbits or anything like that, please feel free, leave a comment. Good, bad, I take it all. It doesn't matter. Appreciate you. Thanks. Take care.